Yewan hath and squallowin teetsiets, Nathan Cheximiya Allison Queen Sna, Tanachin Claw Humulchison Ochemeo, Skahot me show, on Wanok squallowin, Aotin Sequatals. So y'all know what I said, right? Just kidding. What I did say is that my ancestral name is Cheximiya. My given name is Allison. I come from the village of Capilano from the Squamish Nation. Feels really good in my heart to be here and all my relations. I'm very excited to come to you live from my home on Capilano Reserve, and generally we would be up in Whistler at the Squamish Lil'wat Cultural Centre, and I miss it dearly. Even though our doors are shut, our hearts are open. So I'm very excited for each and every one of you to tune in with me today and learn how to make a woven heart. Something like this. When I first learned how to make this over 10 years ago at the Cultural Center, I learned with the inner cedar bark. And I made a small version here using wool for twining. And I'm very excited to showcase with each and every one of you how to do this wonderful technique. If you have your paper ready and you're using the same color, you won't be able to see the pattern as much, but you will be able to still have the technique, and it still looks like a beautiful weave on this heart. The reason we decided to go with this is to make sure that we are staying home during this COVID-19 era, and we are very happy to support all of the frontline workers by being able to create these pieces and putting them in our windows to celebrate all the hard work that they're doing and supporting us during this time. So thank you so much. So I'm just gonna move my samples here off to the side. For those of you who are going to be working alongside with me today, hopefully you have your strips of paper, tape or glue, and scissors. So those of you who have had your strips cut and ready to go, feel free and grab some pieces. And I'm just using standard construction paper, sorry. And what we're gonna do is I'm gonna line up one color in 3 lines, 2 strands each, like so. And what we're going to do is we're going to take 2 strands, line them right up close next to each other so they make a longer strand. And this is where tape comes in handy, so that I can make our strips twice the length by just adding a little bit of tape. To the area where they connect. And my 3rd one here. Wonderful. So now we'll put these off to the side, and we will do the same to our other color. And if you don't have another color, that's okay. You can use the same color. If you don't have construction paper, any regular paper will work. And if you don't have tape to be able to tape it, you can just overlap and use glue, making sure to let it dry. So now they are extra long. From here, what we're going to do is we're going to take 3 pieces that we doubled in the length, and we're going to line them up so that the area that they're connected are all in the same area. So right here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our other strands, bring them over. We're going to start with 1, and what we're going to do is we're going to weave this through our, on what I have is purple. So I'm going to go under, and then I'm going to go over the middle one and under the third one. We're going to bring it so it lines up with our center pieces of our purple. Like so. And the fold or the additional crease that we created will line up on the edge of our first strand here. And our first strand over here will line up with the fold over here. We're going to take another piece of our paper, and what we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite pattern of the first one that we did. So our blue one is under, over, under. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over, under, over. And that one's easy. I can just pick up the middle one, place my strand down, keeping them lined up and nice and even, close to each other, so our weave is beautifully nice and tight. And the third strand will be the same as our first strand because it'll be opposite of the strand that we just did. So you can take the last strand and the first strand, pick them up, take your blue strand, pull it up, push it all the way so it sits nice and close. Hi, Shreddies. And so, come here, babies. I know you want to weave. Hello. Oh, come on. You can join me after, okay? Shreddies, she got her name for a certain reason, so we'll keep her away from the crafts for now. And so you can see that my weave got a little farther apart, and at this point that's okay. We can easily push it close and line it up with one another. And again, we want our folds right here and our folds right here so that we can actually weave additionally and make it into more of a heart. So from this point, what we're gonna do is, because the purple at my corner that's directly in front of me is on top, and so that means I'm gonna grab my blue strand, and because it has that connection, it'll be easily able to fold over. From that there, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our purple strand that's to the immediate left of me, and we're gonna fold it up. So that creates a nice little point, which will be the bottom of our hearts. So now, keeping with our over-under woven pattern that we're doing here, since our purple's on top, the next blue strand on my right-hand side is gonna have to go over. So there we are. And that means our last blue strand, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick up that purple and flip it over and lay the purple strand back down. So now we have these two to deal with. Going from the middle one on my left-hand side here, again, we have our purple to start with. So if I just put it over, it would not keep with our pattern. So I'm gonna pull that back I'm going to pull up this blue one that we folded over from the other side. Bring our purple over, bring our blue down, and you can see how it's starting to keep that pattern the way we like it. So the middle one will be going over with this purple, and so that means the last one is going to go under. So I'm going to pull back that blue, put that purple down, put the blue back down, and last but not least, our last purple strand on my left hand side here. To complete this pattern, we are going to be doing it just like this first one here. So I can pull back this middle blue one on this top layer, fold over the purple, and then we can fold it back. You can take some time to sort of push it to make sure it's nice and in line and in tight with your personal preference. There we are. At this time, you can grab some glue or some tape and see how we have the two layers that we created at the beginning when we taped two pieces together, so that now when we fold them over, they have two layers. So we're going to take the glue, we're going to come right in between, put a nice little chunk of glue there, and fold it back down. We're going to carry on and do this for all of the layers so that it stays nice and tight and close to each other, so it doesn't come apart. It's like so. And if you're working with tape, you can just grab a little bit of tape, fold it and fold it so that it's sticky on all sides. Pick up your layer, place your tape down, and sit it back down in line with itself. And continue on for all of your strands again so it stays nice and in place. The weave that we're doing now is a tabby weave, also known as like a basket weave, and it's the same technique if you watched my wool weaving video that we did in that one there. So we're getting close, not quite a heart, so get your handy dandy scissors, and remember, you can use a marker and you can stencil out the arch that you would like, or if you are gutsy and you just want to cut, remember to cut less because you can always cut more off after. So if I start up here, I can come at an angle. Oh, missed one. There we go. And I can come around here. Are they all in there? Let's try. And come at an angle. And there we are. And if you want a smaller arch, say it doesn't look quite right, you can always go back and cut a little bit more. It's a little harder to add it back on afterwards. And there you are. Your very own heart in the window. You can write a little message on here. You can add a picture. You can do a little coloring. And it's really amazing to be able to support all of our frontline workers. And that's why I'm very excited for each and every one of you to learn this craft with me today. Additionally, I would also like to show you how I first learned using our inner cedar bark. So let me just put these pieces off to the side here. There we are. We grab some of our beautiful inner bark here. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Perfect. So with this, it's going to be a smaller heart, And I'm not going to be adding pieces, as these pieces are the proper length that I need them in. And so, same idea, line 3 up, use your other 3, weave them through. This one, you just have to know your spacing, because we do not have that fold with the additional materials with the construction paper that we were using. But I do know that one side needs to be shorter, one side needs to be longer. And so here's my last one. On a little thick. Let's go with this one here. If you want to make your heart bigger, you can always add more strands. So we have 3 woven. Take this piece of cedar, fold it up on itself, create that crease. Bring the first strand on your right hand over, create that locking mechanism for that point at the bottom of our hearts, and carry on with our pattern. Over, under, like so. So one side done, all lined up. Using cedar is a little bit different. It has to be wet when you work with it, and I like to just force it with my fingers a little here. And then we can work on our other side. There we go. Last one. Perfect. Cedar is really great when it's wet. You can manipulate it to the way you would like it, and from here I like to just smush it so that it knows that's where I would like it to be. And when we're working with our inner cedar bark, we do not use glue or tape. So alternatively, we can use another piece of cedar, sinew, string, wool, and this will help us keep it together. Right now, if you actually open it up, it creates a little bit of a pouch, so that's kind of cool. So that piece that I took earlier was a little thick, so I'm going to thin it out a little bit. Just using my nail. It's really easy to do. Don't try it at home. Use a better material. Just kidding. And then I'm just going to thin it out a little bit by splitting it down the center, folding it in half, anchor it around both of your cedar strands, taking the back one. And what we're going to do is we're going to bring it around the next 2. Taking the back one, bring it around the last 2 strands. Get this one out of my way. Take the back one. Bring it around the next 2 that we folded together. This will keep our weave in line, nice and tight, making sure that we pull it so that there's going to make sure it stays just like we want it to be when it dries. Getting our next 2 that we folded together here, bringing our back strand around. And keeping it nice and tight. And one more. Our last 2 are gonna be included. Nobody gets left behind. And then from there, we can take these 2 pieces of cedar that we use for twining. We can make a little bit of a knot, like a balloon. bring it so it sits nice and tight next to your work. Let's see. There we go. And then if you're going to use it to hang, do another knot at the end of your 2 strings here. And there you go. I'm just kidding. We still got to cut the top. So, again, it's hard to add back on. So if you want to do it larger, you can always go smaller, but you can't add it back on. So, using a marker is something that's really good to be able to visualize the area that you're going to cut. Like so. And because this one's hanging over here, we'll hang kind of sideways. So I like that. Gives a little flair and pizzazz. There we are. Get these out of my way. Well, I really appreciate each and every one of you coming in and sharing with me today. If you are with us creating pieces, please make sure to tag us. I would love to see all of your completed work or where you're visiting us from and where you're watching the video. Thank you so much. With all of my love and support from the Squamish Lil'wat Cultural Centre, I really hope that each and every one of you enjoyed this activity learning with me today, and I hope to see you guys back in the future. So thank you so much. Bye for now.